So, good evening and welcome along to the Bashor 99 Club podcast. My name is Dave O'Connor, or Irish Dave, and this is Nurse Melissa.
Hello.
Come up a little bit, Nurse Melissa, so everyone can hear you. So I'm in tonight for Vince Turner, who couldn't be here, and I'm actually glad because I'm excited to interview you, Nurse Melissa. Vince probably has too many stories on you, though.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he has a ton over the years.
And he didn't send me on any, which is good. So I know nothing about you. But I do like the fact that I don't meet many people who have like a word before their name. So it's like Irish Dave and Nurse Melissa.
Isn't it exciting?
Yeah, nobody really knows their last names. And we like it that way.
We do like it that way.
You have this like incredible energy all the time, and I don't know where you get it from. Like, what motivates you? Like, you put in a lot of hours, you do a lot of things here at Bashor. You've been here for a long time. How do you keep motivating yourself to do what you do every day at Bashor Children's Home?
That's really easy. I have just a great passion for what we do here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, taking care of all of the kids is a huge responsibility and something I take extremely serious. We get kids from all over the place, and sometimes they come with absolutely no records and a lot of needs. And, you know, I take my job very seriously in seeing that all of those needs are met. And, you know, sometimes we have to reach out to others. Sometimes we're able to do it all here. But yeah, that is definitely what motivates me.
So how long have you been here?
Oh my God. Since like the beginning of time, it feels like some days, but I think it's 18 years now. I'm not really good with dates of that kind of sort because, you know.
I think it's November 3rd.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it's
gosh.
almost, yeah. I looked on your LinkedIn, believe it or not.
Oh, no way.
I don't know why you have a LinkedIn because it's just one job for 18 years, you know.
So. I didn't even know I had a LinkedIn. Somebody must have built that here for Bashor. That's hilarious.
That is funny. Yeah. So yeah, it's your work anniversary coming up in like 2 weeks. So
that's nice.
How has Bashor changed in those almost 2 decades?
Oh my gosh.
Do you like how I worded that?
I know. Thanks. Feel really old now. Was feeling old before.
What was it like when you first got here? Like what were you doing before you even started? Like what was that?
Before I started, I was working at a clinic in South Bend, and I was a float nurse working in all of the specialty offices. And you know, I've always kind of been that person that needs a lot to do. I need a variety. I need to be busy all the time. And Bashor was like the perfect fit for me. And when I started at Bashor, there were a few buildings that were not here that are now here. I can't say that, you know, I think I told you about Steve Ross. He was here before the pond. I was here before 3 buildings, I think.
Yeah.
And so yeah, lots of things have changed. We have grown in some programs. Lots of staff have changed over the years, you know, but the kids, they just keep coming. And, you know, that's why we all stay, and that's why we all work so very hard.
And there's so much emphasis put on the mental health of these children because, you know, obviously they've been through abuse and neglect, but that starts often you're the first line of defense when you come in because the mental health takes time. The physical health, you're often the first person to see these kids when they come in, right?
Right, absolutely. And you know what some people don't realize about Bashor is that we have a full medical clinic here now. That's one thing we didn't have when I initially started. And over the years, we've grown and built that. And so not only the mental health needs are we caring for, but you know, we're also taking care of dental health and you know, their vision. We have an ophthalmology clinic here. We have a full dental clinic. We also have a primary care office. We do physical therapy as well as occupational therapy. Just lots and lots of services that we have grown over the years. Lots of providers in our community that really help us meet the needs of these children. And, you know, I'm going to stop and just share a story if I can. Do you mind?
Do I mind you talking on a podcast?
I know.
No, I get it. No, I love anything you want to say.
All right. So everybody knows I love to talk, but one of the things
this will be an extended podcast.
Sorry.
No, don't say sorry.
One of the things that some of the kids here struggle with are their dental needs. You know, a lot of kids, and including adults, they're afraid to go to the dentist. We have kids that have never ever seen a dentist when they arrive here. And so over the years, I've seen everything from a child coming from another facility who had such bad dental decay and deterioration because of their drug habit that they actually had no teeth. And if you think, oh, that's a child, when I tell you that that is a 14-year-old child who now has partials, you know, that's an extreme thing. Stop and think about that for a moment. You know, that self-image for that child, you know, and that child is not done growing. You know, their teeth, their molars, things are still coming in, and you know, these dentures, these partials are not fitting. And if it wasn't for Dr. Stewart, our volunteer dentist, I don't know what we would have done. You know, he used his contacts, and we used our resources to make sure that through the course of the time this young man was here, they were refitted at least 3 times. Wow. You know, because he's growing. Yeah, he was growing. He was still cutting teeth. And I mean, you know, I just hope somewhere along the way, somebody else continues to help him, you know? So I don't know. That's just one kind of story, something over the years. We've had parents come to the back door and, you know, say, thank you so much. You know, we could not get our kid to go to the dentist. We've had them kicked out of 3 offices. And so, you know, that's just 1 or 2 minor dental stories, but lots and lots over the 18 years.
And I know that dental, as you mentioned, is something that we're looking for right now. So if there is any dentists, so how does that kind of work? Is it all, you hope they volunteer their practice, or like?
I mean, we can do both. So Dr. Stewart, he is our primary dentist here. He comes, he does all of our big stuff. And he is also helping out at another local clinic. And he's really, really spread thin. So he knows that, you know, we're trying to help to find somebody to just help him out here in the evenings or during the day. I am super flexible with my schedule for my providers. And, you know, if there's any dentist out there that's interested, it can be pro bono if you just don't want to deal with the billing aspect of things. But if not, I will do everything I can to help with the billing aspect. But yeah.
Well, there's a lot of great dentist office and dentists around here, so we should be able to sort something out. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure we will. Absolutely. If you're just tuning in to the 99 Club podcast, it's Irish Dave here in for Vince Turner tonight, chatting with Nurse Melissa. Hi. Yeah, her last name is a secret. But it's called the 99 Club because Bashor is celebrating 99 years in the community, helping children. Melissa's only been here for 18 of those, but no. And next year is going to be 100 years. But for this year, we're trying to get 99 people to sign up to be a part of the 99 Club and donate $99. And we've got like an exclusive Bashor t-shirt and stuff that we give you. So if you want to learn more about that, go to our website. It's bashor.org. Donate and become a member of the 99 Club. And thank you to New Way Construction for their support of this podcast this evening. I did tell you that if people comment, no, you don't have Facebook yourself, right?
I don't have Facebook. I really do not do any form of social media at all.
Your life is probably better for it, let me just tell you. Although we are broadcasting on social media right now. So, all right, Nikki France, she's amazing. Love her and all she does. Aww. The one person on campus you don't want to let down.
No, Nicole.
Rachel Russell just said hello.
Oh, hi, Rachel. Miss you.
I feel like this is like a family Zoom.
It is. It's like a family Zoom.
During COVID. Oh. If you have any comments, by the way, feel free to write your comments, or if there's any questions that you have about Bashor and the programs and the medical side of things for Nurse Melissa throughout the podcast over the next 20 minutes or so, then just write them and, you know, we'll read them. I'll read them out, and if you can answer them.
All right.
When you're dealing with children the entire time who have been abused and neglected, and children who are just in a point where often when they first come to Bashor, they're just really a mess, understandably. How do you care for them while also caring for yourself? Like, does it not just drive you down a lot when you see the condition that they're in over and over again? Like, for 18 years, does that not get to you when you go home?
That's a really hard one because, there have been a lot of kids over the years, and you really have to remember that self-care. There are some that still probably bring tears to my eyes if I think long enough about it. But, I know that every kid that crosses our path is better for it when they leave. I truly have to believe that. Like, we really do try hard to do everything we can, not only for the kids, but for our staff too, and self-care is very important. We are really serious about supervisions around here. And there is not a day goes by if I had to knock on Sean's door about whatever. He would just welcome me in to talk about it, and we would move through whatever that problem was to meet that need for whatever child we were talking about or I was concerned about. And so I don't know, there's not a real great answer for that, unfortunately. I mean, it's really individualized, I have to say.
Have there been children, and obviously we got to be careful in terms of what information we can give, but have there been some that have, you said if you really thought about it, you could really think of some individually? Like, what are some of those that you think of in ways that you're kind of proud of what you've been able to achieve?
So some of the more recent things that I'm really proud of, we are doing, post-COVID here, we have partnered with the state of Indiana, and we're doing an immunization clinic on campus again. Currently, we're only able to do it bi-monthly, but how does this differ from any other vaccine clinic? It not only tends to and cares for our kids, immunizes our children, but it also immunizes our staff here on campus. So anybody who is looking for any kind of vaccine, we're able to help them with that. So, kind of overall, I'm able to help everybody. And so, that gives me the warm and fuzzies as I go home. Everybody's protected. And today was actually one of those vaccine clinics. Another thing, recently I had, and this was just, sometimes they say God is looking out and, or somebody is looking out, and things just fall into place. I had a patient recently who was admitted here to Bashor, and it just so happened that that very next day he was seeing our primary care physician, and he said, hey, what's this going on with your eye? And this kiddo had a cataract. Young kid. And young kids should not have cataracts, for those of you who don't know that. And after some, few minutes of discussion, this kiddo was injured when he was younger, had a stick to the eye. And so he couldn't see. It's kind of like seeing through, I don't know, a dirty window, if you will. And this is something that's very easily corrected most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Just so happened that 2 days later, my ophthalmologist was here and was able to see him and kind of get the gears rolling and put the referrals in place for me to be able to find somebody who was willing then to take care of the cataract. And long story short, the kiddo had the surgery thanks to a ton of staff here at Bashor. I cannot even express. The staff at this cottage went above and beyond for this kiddo, and hours at this hospital to help this kiddo when nobody else showed up for him. Lots promised, but nobody showed. And anyhow, cataract is gone, and this kiddo is getting ready to have one more small procedure, and vision is fine. Eye looks wonderful. Self-esteem is through the roof. What more could you want? No pain. And Yeah, it's a really, really magnificent feeling to be able to help facilitate this for such a young kid.
You talked about how staff, showed up for him when no one else did. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Oh, I knew you were going to dig there a little bit.
Well, the thing about Bashor that people don't always realize is that there's incredible things going on every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And often you guys get so used to going to bat for these children that you don't think it's actually incredible. But I think these are the stories that most resonate with people, just to kind of help them realize just what it is that we're doing here.
Yeah. So just picture this. You are a young kiddo and you're getting ready to have this big surgery. And the doctor tells you, hey, one of the side effects is you might not be able to see afterwards. It's a possibility. It's a side effect. Do you still want to do this? He's scared out of his mind. Who wouldn't be scared out of their mind, right?
Yeah.
And so we have a staff there. No mom, no dad, no caseworkers, no probation officers. I mean, they are all great people, but it's the Bashor staff that's actually there with this kid, and the long drive there, the long drive back, all the anxieties are building. Imagine if that was your kid. I think about, what if that was my kid? And we get them through all of that. And so there's all these hand holdings and all these conversations that are taking place, and the anxieties that, I'm working through, the line staff is working through, the unit managers, the not probation, but the program directors, like they're all helping him work through this. And it's weeks sometimes before that surgery comes up, because we all know, you go to the doctor, they don't schedule the surgery the very next day. So all these things are happening, and through all of this, that anxiety is building, right?
Yep.
And so then it's finally time for that surgical date, and the patient has made all these phone calls, right? And everybody has promised, mom has promised.
Yeah. Oh, caseworkers.
Everybody
promised that they'd be in the hospital with him, to be there with him.
Who shows up? Bashor. Bashor shows up.
And nobody else. I was shocked to hear that, and I don't want to mention who it was who showed up, but he shows up for a lot of people.
He shows up for a lot of people. He really showed up for this young man.
Yeah.
Absolutely, in a big way. It was hours at the hospital. And he has his own family,
Yeah. And then for this kid to wake up and see who's there, it's Bashor who's sitting there holding his hand, letting him know, hey, you're good. Everything's good. We got a couple of more comments. It is the Bashor podcast. My name is Irish Dave, although I feel like it's kind of silly saying that now still in my life. I feel like I should just be like, it's Dave O'Connor from Ireland. This is Nurse Melissa, who does have a last name as well. But yeah. Oh gosh, these names always get me. Angela Van Claveren. She said, Melissa, I miss you. So you obviously don't miss her as much. You don't even know who it is. So
we don't often know last names here.
I'm kidding. Well, they're writing it. Oh yeah, it could have been a pass. Yeah, sorry. Melissa is the best nurse. So blessed by her helping kids, says Sarah Sark as well. These are real comments.
Sarah.
So you can see them here. So want to say thank you as well to our sponsors, New Way Construction, also Patrick Industries. Thank you to them for supporting our podcast here, the 99 Club. By the way, if you do want to donate, if you believe in everything that Nurse Melissa is doing and all the care that these children get, it's really expensive,
Very.
Yeah, so if you want to support what we're doing, go to bashor.org, because their physical health is really important in them getting the help they need for their mental health, and then being able to go into and teaching really good habits. It's this is something that I realized too. It's that, I grew up kind of in a very working class, lower income family, and I'd never seen a dentist till I was 13 years old. And actually, when I moved to the United States, I was 30 years old when I moved here, and I hadn't been to a dentist since I had gone when I was 13. And I only had one cavity. But it was never sometimes people wonder, well, that's just what you're supposed to do. But if that's not part of your upbringing and it's not part of what you're being taught and your parents didn't really know any better, and it's not always that obvious. So often a lot of the habits that we're always teaching kids here how to live after Bashor, and health is part of that, of course.
Absolutely. And you make another comment about dentists. I just want to say, like, our line staff here are the best, and our unit managers. There are times when the kiddos come in and they just don't know how to brush their teeth. I know people think that's so simple, or they don't know how to bathe, properly. You think, oh, there's not a proper way to bathe. Oh, there is a proper way to bathe. And, all of these things. And so, it is really our line staff and our unit managers, like, they are essentially moms and dads teaching these kiddos how to brush their teeth properly. Sometimes we have to go to the added expense of getting, electric toothbrushes and things like that to make sure things are done a little bit better. A little more effort is put into it. There's all these little expenses people just don't think about when it comes to taking care of the kids. But, if the dentist suggests it and thinks it's a good idea, we're absolutely going to do it,
So we've talked a lot about the dentist, which is one aspect, but the drill. Boom. Sorry, couldn't help it.
That's good.
No,
That's good.
don't tell me. Don't encourage me. What other medical care are you seeing every day that you have to administer?
So, I'm going to give Dr. Berger a shout out, because he has been with us for almost as long as I have been here. He is in general medicine here in the Goshen Elkhart area. And he's phenomenal. He is on call for us all the time. I mean, just think about all the general health stuff that we've had to deal with, before and after COVID, I mean, he was here through all of that with us. You think about, kids when they're angry, what might an angry kid do? Punch something. And so we have lots of bruises maybe and things like that he might be looking after. Colds, you think about birth control, like, all these things. I mean, whatever you would take care of in general, regular health care, that's what we're dealing with here.
And you're also dealing with children, again, who are often so scared of adults and don't want care, don't want you, that even for you, it's not like the kids are always well behaved being brought in by a parent and it's just part of their life. Like, a lot of these kids don't want to be examined, don't want you to look into them.
No, they do not.
So there's that side of it too, right? Talk a little bit about that.
All right. So I'm going to go for the really difficult subject. So I know one of the podcasts we had talked to Justine, and she talked a little bit about our kiddos that have been trafficked, and think about how scary that kind of gynecological exam would be. They really need this service. They really need to talk to somebody about it, birth control, the whole 9 yards, and they're scared to death, but they really get to know us, and, we build that relationship with them, myself, the line staff, our providers, and, we're able to get those teenagers through some very difficult times in their lives to receive the services that they need. There's a lot that goes into this. A lot of the girls have been through horrendous. I'm sorry, I get a little emotional about it. So they've been through some real horrendous things in their lives, and things that nobody should go through, especially somebody so young. I'm sorry.
You're fine. No,
it's a really difficult subject, and a lot of people just do not realize all the care that goes into taking care of these kids. And there are a lot of people here, a lot of really good people doing a lot of really good things every day.
No, you're right. No, but it's
sorry, that's a hard subject for me.
No, because even, I've toured all the different buildings, and the one thing that gives me so much hope about children is that they have this way of being so resilient. And I know that Bashor says help for today and hope for tomorrow. And a lot of places have slogans, but that is literally what Bashor does. that help, like you coming in straight away and being able to give them all the services and everyone, the line workers, everyone. And then the hope for tomorrow is that it really, your past does not have to define your future.
Absolutely.
You know, this is like the best filter system the kids can ever go through. And although I think it's terrible that these kids have to go through that, I think it would be worse if they had to go through it and not have Bashor.
Yeah, no one should have to go through any of that
No,
alone.
but,
Nobody.
But we can't stop that.
No.
You know, but we can ensure that that doesn't have to be their legacy.
Correct.
or dictate their future, you know?
That's correct.
Yeah. Do you have kids yourself or no?
I do.
You
I
do?
have my first grandson
You
too.
do?
He's getting ready to turn 1.
So I'm guessing that when you see these kids, you see your own kids and just think about that probably too, in terms of like, I'm sure it hits home a lot more when you've got your own children and you see them going through this.
It does. And it changes people. Like working here, you kind of asked me that question before, but not just me, like my kids too. Like it changes your outlook on things, how you teach your children, you know, your children teach their children. People start to look out for things that you normally would not look out for, you know, and so, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it over the years, I think.
And also, you know, what people don't realize is it also, you can teach your children, as you mentioned, to look out for these things. But often when other kids are being bullies, and I'm not excusing bullying, but a lot of it is down to what's going on at home.
Correct.
And sometimes that's a big indicator into, you know, into trauma that's at home or some neglect of some kind. So we got another comment here as well. I want to say thank you to Obico Incorporated, by the way, big sponsors of Bashor Children's Home. So I want to say thank you to them. Oh, it was just Sarah saying, Dave, we were blessed by you too. That's nice. Sarah's
That's true.
No, you know.
You as well, Sarah.
Yeah, let's just. So again, I know that you're looking for a dentist to be able to help out a little bit as well. So maybe if somebody knows, I was going to start name dropping all the dentist offices that I know personally.
Don't do that.
You know, but I won't do that. But, you know, we all go to a dentist office, so maybe it's something you could suggest or send us some information about that. Is there other staff that you're looking for too, nursing staff or anything? Or
I'm actually looking for an RN for the evening, and so anybody who's interested, let me know.
You just have to be qualified.
Yeah, you have to be an RN.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think really have a heart for this business, you know. I mean, that really goes... Everybody who is working in this industry, you can definitely tell that they have a heart for this service. So
it's really been highlighted what nurses and medical staff have gone through, especially over the last couple of years. A lot of things have highlighted the stresses of that. What would you say for any nurses watching who would like to work here? Like, what's the atmosphere like? What's the reality of working here like? Like, is it traumatic, stressful all the time, or is it like you got breathing space to actually deliver great care and have the time to deliver the care that you need? Or is it just like...
Anybody who knows me knows, from the kids to the staff here, I'm always going to give it to you straight, whether you want to hear it or not. And he's like, oh my gosh, what is she going to say? It's not. This is a really rewarding job. I mean, I have been here for 18 years and I love every minute of it, you know. And what I could say is, and I wasn't going to share this, but this is a great spot to share it. I think, you know, this is the kind of place that I had cancer a few years back, and I was able to work through that. I worked through the whole thing, took care of this campus with the support of everybody here, and really didn't miss a beat. You know, I mean, that is the kind of place that you would be coming to work for. I cannot stress how wonderful the people are here. And, you know, everybody thinks residential, it's so scary. The kids are going to beat you up. And no, you're like the auntie who gets to come to visit every once in a while. You know, you get all the great rewarding stuff because you're always helping and fixing and doing those kinds of things. And that's really the truth of it, you know?
I've noticed that at Bashor, there's a culture of not letting each other fall.
True. Absolutely true.
Now, that's not to say there's not a few people that I,
Stumbles.
no, but in general, there's this atmosphere of like trying things, being innovative. If somebody wants to try a new program, try it, but it's always done within the foundation and the structure of never letting anyone fall to the point that it would ever negatively impact the children.
Correct.
Yeah.
So,
Angie says, Melissa, I miss you. Heather Johnson says, one of the things I love most about Melissa is that she's always straight with you.
I am straight. That's true.
Her husband sent me a note about that before the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Well, that's the 30 minutes,
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, I you've got really great energy. I don't want to sound like I'm out hugging trees every day, but you put out this energy every day, and it's like a tireless energy for the children. And I've noticed it. And I think Bashor is really lucky to have you.
Oh,
genuinely.
thank you.
So, again, thank you so much to New Way Construction. Thank you to Patrick Industries, Genesis Products, and Obico Incorporated. They're the 4 sponsors of our 99 Club podcast. Let me see. There's another comment here, so I want to make sure. Gary McRae.
Hi, Gary.
Who's our foster care director.
Mm-hmm.
The heart of care is what he wrote under there.
Oh, he's so sweet.
I love Gary.
Me too.
Yeah.
We need foster families.
You ever watch the show Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck?
No.
Okay, so Tom Selleck's always wearing cardigans. This is totally nothing to do with Bashor. Well, it kind of is. But you just want to, like, he's like the kind of dad in it or the uncle in it that you always just want to hug. Like that love. It's Gary.
It is scary.
Every time I see Gary here, I want to be like, any chance of a hug, but I just don't want to be weird about it, so.
Only side hugs here at Bashor.
Oh, is that it? Aw, I can sign a consent form for a full hug. But anyway, thank you so much, Nurse Melissa. If you want to support Bashor, if you believe in everything that Nurse Melissa talked about, then go to bashor.org and donate. We'll be back again. It's the first and third Wednesday of every month is when we have a Bashor podcast. So who'll be on the next one? We'll find out. Thanks so much.